Wow. Good afternoon, good evening, and good day, wherever you are tuning from. Ladies and gentlemen, Elsa Rapudi here. And with me is our guest, Mr. Al Touré.
Hey
Al, may you
everyone.
please say hello to our audience?
Hi everyone. It's good to be back again for about the third time now.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today with you one more time to share with you information regarding domestic violence, how to break the wall of domestic violence. Why do I say the wall? It is because, someone who is being abused, a victim of rejection or abuse, is being captured in a wall that he or she has to break himself or herself. That's why I say break the wall of domestic violence. And it reminds me with our common slogan here in South Africa that goes, Watinti abafazi, watinti mbokoto. It means you strike a woman, you strike a rock. So take it away, Mr. Al. Can you tell us what do you understand by the word domestic violence?
Well, yeah, a lot of it has happened from what I've heard and from what I've seen. It's obviously no good. You can't just a good relationship. You can't just like manipulate others and be greedy. You know, in a relationship, you don't necessarily do what's just best for your partner. You do what's best for you also. And if it doesn't work out, then it might not be a good relationship. If it does not work out for both people, then it might not be a good relationship and you might need to move on elsewhere.
Wow, thank you so much. I like that perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, it is true. Domestic violence, it can be, when you want to win power over your next of kin or your partner and forcing them to do the things that they are not ready to do. That is domestic violence. And it is common in the whole world. And this involves everybody, and we are duty bound to be responsible to cut down the rate at which domestic violence is occurring or is happening. It's even worse now, even with this pandemic, whereby you'll be facing the perpetrator 24/7, 365 days. We have witnessed many people have lost lives. It can be innocent children, it can be women, it can be men at the same time.
Mm.
And this is with enormous, rate, and it is so disturbing. So we need to be responsible and we need to be supportive to the victims of domestic violence. We don't have to align it or to stigmatize domestic violence. Like, for an example, if you see your neighbor or your sister being victimized, then you start to say that she is being beaten up. That is why she cannot get out of the room or so. No, we have to be supportive and we don't have to victimize the victim. Anything else, Mr. Al?
Yeah, so about victimizing the victim, um, obviously victims tend to victimize themselves, and what I'm saying is that they feel very limited in getting out of the relationship, and honestly, the abuser's power is overrated. Some a lot of times, they're just they're just bluffing, and the victims, their partners who they're attempting to or abusing, they could get out of it, and a lot of them have for sure. So so if you're so everyone, if you're watching this, and if you're being abused or being maltreated, you could get out of that relationship. Just just call for help and then get out of there.
Okay, let's check who is on the chat box with us. One moment.
Hmm.
Yvonne, thank you, Elsa and Al, for talking about breaking the wall of domestic violence. Thank you, Yvonne. And I'm backstage and waiting to be let in. Great start, guys. Uh, Joshua, Yvonne is in the backstage. Please let her in. Thank you. So we will continue. Then our honorable partner, Miss Yvonne, will find us on the way. So when it comes to domestic violence, it is true, these perpetrators, they've got a pattern of how they easily capture their prey. And they've got patterns of saying, I am sorry, I will never do it again. And that confuses the victim. It confuses the victim because, to let go is not something very easy. And to let go is not an overnight thing, it's a journey on its own. So, wherever you are, if you find yourself to be a victim of abuse, do not suffer alone. Seek for help. Seek for help. Can you add, Mr. Al, on what I've just said?
Yeah, and also I've heard that a lot of those who are being abused, they they tend to stay because to keep the peace, or to keep up appearances too, or to protect others from them, and that it might feel or be easier, but it's not the way for happiness. And yeah, what I've heard from others too, if you leave that relationship, you'll be even more relieved than you've ever been. You'll be free. So yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I really love your perspective, Mr. Al. Yes, it is true. As I have said, that these perpetrators have got a pattern of how to capture their prey. They confuse the victims because they will apologize. And at the end of the day, the victim takes the blame on themselves. And it is so important to know all the signs that might lead to domestic violence. Some of them, we take them for granted. And you hear a person saying that, you know what, the way he or she loves me, she doesn't want to know anything about me. There is nothing like that. There is nothing like that. Love has to be genuine. Love has to be pure. And it doesn't have to be with force. And it has to have an agreement between the two parties. And nobody has to be turned into a slave by the next of kin. No. Gone are the days whereby our parents used to live like that. So let's check again who's on the chat box with us. One moment. Miss Yvonne, wonderful guys. Yes, oftentimes they use manipulative languages. Thank you, Yvonne, for your input. And Joshua, will you let Yvonne in, please? She's in the backstage, if you can hear me. Yeah, and to you, our audience, wherever you are, please put your comments under the comment section so that we discuss this. This is an enormous problem that involves all of us. So come one, come all, let us discuss it and help each other. So without any further ado, I will give Mr. Al a chance to can say a word or two.
Okay. So, okay, what? So I did. So what's on my mind now is a story that I've heard online. An anonymous man. Yep, as far as I remember, an anonymous man. He was at a party with friends, and then he met this girl, and eventually he drank too much and was drunk, and the girl and the woman took advantage of him, and she took sexual advantage of him, and he wasn't able to resist. And at the end, when he was scared, his friends his friends who were very toxic said, "Hey, you're a man. You can't be victimized by a woman. Come on, men don't do that." And that story doesn't make me happy at all, because men can be victims too, whether they're strong or not. And I'm sure a lot of the lady abusers like to take advantage of, or I mean, I'm sure a lot of the lady abusers take advantage of that, and use, like, what I like to call lady excuses to get away with a lot of things. And yeah, men, and the men who are watching, if you're watching, don't please don't feel bad for yourself or feel like you're not a man by running away from your abuser. You still should go away, and you'll be more of a man than you'll ever be for having the freedom that you want.
Thank you, Mr. Al. Yes, it is true to what Mr. Al have just said. We've got males that are victims of domestic violence too. And should that be the case with you, do not suffer alone. Seek for help. And
Oh,
don't
hello, hello,
worry or
hello.
don't
It
mind
looks like
people.
Elsa and Al are having some technical difficulties, and all of a sudden, they just decided. Hopefully, they are going to get back in the show. So, Elsa and Al, if you guys can hear me, hopefully the network is gonna correct briefly so that you guys can get.
Ooh.
So I just hope to get in because I came in a little bit late because I left from job and I was rushing to class. I was like, see, if
Your
you see
voice is
me,
all weird.
I'm here having the conversation in my car. So I'm going to pick up from there. Al and Elsa left. Let's see, having more unstable internet connection. Move closer to your router if you are on Wi-Fi. Okay. Yes, I would just pick up from here until Al and Elsa will get back into the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, this is Yvonne Mundi. I am connecting from Minnesota, USA, and I am happy to be here today. I want to thank you all for tuning in to listen us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuning in the world. Today, we are talking about breaking the wall of domestic violence. Breaking the wall of domestic violence. Domestic violence is.
It seems like we have lost Miss Yvonne, so we will carry on. Can somebody just say if we are audible and visible? Please, under the chat box. It seems like we've got internet glitch, you know? Can you hear me, Al?
Yeah, I could hear and see you just fine.
Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was just emphasizing the point that if you are a man and you feel that you are being abused, don't mind people who will talk that you are weak. No, do not cry alone without seeking help. Cry, but seek help. Cry, but seek help. Because by seeking help, you will be correcting the whole situation that you might find yourself in. And even with our ladies, if you feel that you are a victim of abuse,
People they can control
Oh, Mom, hang on a minute. Mom?
We are just talking about one country, one community. It affects us globally. So
we've lost her again. Okay, it's one of those things. Anyway, should you feel that you as a woman, you are also a victim of abuse, seek for help. And know the area where you are, know your community. It's so important to know your community because there will be some advocacy going on around. There'll be some shelters that can be offered to protect you, to be removed from your perpetrator. And associate yourself with people who are facing the same problem, because they will guide you, they will help you. And again, if you feel or you hear that your sister in the neighborhood is a victim of abuse, don't just say, I don't want to be involved. No, go out of your house, go there, knock, and ask for something that will alert them that whatever is happening, I can hear, and whatever is hurting you is affecting me, so that we can be able to offer help. We don't have to wait until lives will be lost. No. Let us support each other, because we as women, we are the forces of nature.
For both.
We've got to grow in our divinity.
Wow, the internet.
Yes, it was the issue of the internet.
Yes.
Yes, do you want to say something, Miss Yvonne?
Yes, I've been talking since I didn't see you guys, and then I just continued to talk by myself. So yeah, I'm really sorry that I came in late, because like you can see, I'm broadcasting from my car from a job, so I had to rush into the car to take part in this, and I was backstage for a little bit, and so I was let in. The moment I was let in, and then the internet was not friendly to two of you. But thank God that we are back now. Yes,
Thank you.
the issue of domestic violence and abuse is a very, very important issue and topic that concerns every member of the home, the family, the community, and the entire world. It is things that happen every day under our own watch. And so this is something that we're going to really talk about and really encourage people to come up so that together we can begin to look for solutions. Because when one spouse is affected, the entire family, especially children, are affected. You know, we will not be looking at this from the perspective of how we were brought up, how we were trained, or our parents, because our parents were trained to stay in a relationship no matter how abusive it is for the sake of the children. But for the sake of the children, is also ruining the children in the end. Because when a child goes through domestic violence or even watch it, it affects that child, it traumatizes that child. And that child will grow up to think that it is a normal pattern of life. And so when they are abused in turn, they will not know what to do. They will just take it as being normal. So there are a lot of signs that we have to look for in order to break the wall of domestic violence in our homes and in our community. And I will give it over to you, Elsa, to begin to let's talk about some of those signs so that people will know, because some of them cannot know if they don't know the signs. So we need to educate them so that they will be able to sort these things out so they don't get in a situation that is not good for them. Thank you so much. You can take over.
Thank, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I so like when you say that, there are signs that some of us, we might not be aware of them. And, you know, we still have that mindset to say that to be ill treated by your next of kin, to be ill treated by your partner or your spouse, it's a sign of love. No, there is no such. If a person loves you, let that love shine. Let it be genuine. Let it be genuine. And I'm going to give
That's
you
right.
few of the signs that we might at times neglect them or take for granted as being a sign of love. Number one, you will not have the power to can say anything wherever you are with your partner. Whenever you suggest something, it will be crushed immediately with no reason. And the second thing, your partner can just talk, or harass you in front of the children, in front of your family members, in front of everybody, not showing respect. That is another sign of abuse. And again, taking power over you, telling you what to do and what not to do. That is another sign of abuse. I remember with me, back in the days, I was told not to communicate any longer with some of my friends. I was not allowed to can go anywhere.
The
And
network
wherever
today,
I
I'm
will
ladies and
be,
gentlemen, I'm really,
I
really
will be
sorry. The
followed.
network today doesn't seem to cooperate. Whatever the case, I will pick up from where we ended. It looks like the network today is not cooperating. And hopefully Elsa is going to get back into the show. It looks like the network is a problem from which end, I don't know. So, but thank you so much. You guys are back. So go ahead, Elsa, and finish.
Yes, to be monitored by phone calls that never ends. That is another sign of domestic violence. And another aspect, it's like you'll be denied to improve on yourself, to empower yourself with knowledge. You'll be told that you're wasting time, you're wasting money. Those are the two things. So for you to can bypass all these circumstances, you have to be on the alert. The warning signs, there'll be red flags coming your way, and you have to now know that this is the time for you to seek help. You don't have to wait until things are just too bad to can be controlled. No, start immediately. Know what you are worth. As a woman, you are part of the nature. You are the force of nature. Therefore, you have the power in you and you are empowered. And we've got to reclaim our power, but at headed level. And we have to grow into our divinity and infinity. No one has got to tell you that, no, stop, this is enough, especially when it comes to personal growth. Education is one of the most powerful tools that we need to equip ourselves with. And if somebody is going to tell you that you're wasting money, why do you want to be learning until when? You've got to be on the lookout. You've got to be on the lookout. And the other thing, the other sign, it will be, the house economy, whereby you will not have access to the money. The money will be in possession of the king of the house. And you find that you lack so many things. That also is another sign of abuse. It's another sign of abuse. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us reclaim our power, but at headed level. I'll repeat, let us reclaim our power at headed level. No one is to be feeling uncomfortable or unhappy because of the power that is being taken away from him or her. That is abuse. And if you are the owner of an organization or the CEO or the founder, this message is for you. You have to educate your members, because by not doing that, one day you'll be in that big company alone. Because this domestic violence, it comes in different patterns, and it's so enormous, it's so disturbing. So get people who can come and give talks in your organizations or in your company about this issue of domestic violence. It is important. Anything else, Mr. Al or Miss Yvonne?
Al, do you want to go first, or you would like me to go?
You could add on, Mom.
Yeah, I really thank you, Elsa, for your contribution, because this issue of domestic violence, it is so important, because it affects all facets of our society. It doesn't just affect the victim or the abuser, it affects the children, because the one who is the perpetrator also suffers, and that perpetrator needs help too. Because when we are talking about the issue of domestic violence, it is very, very abnormal that somebody will abuse the spouse over and over, even in the presence of the children. You're talking about they're intimidating you, ridiculing you for you seeking self-development. It happens. It happens. And I'm sure it has happened to you. It's happened to me. They tell you you're already educated. Why do you want to seek more education, wasting money? They don't want you to grow. Life as it is a continual development. We have to continue to grow. We have to continue to improve on our lives, our attitudes, our behavior. Other than that, we can't go anywhere. And I so much emphasize, especially in the patriarchal system that a lot of African countries have. The power is in the hands of the man. And it is good that the man gets the power, but you get the power when you deserve it. When you show that you are a good person, you care, you love, you're not just there as a figurehead who imposes on your spouse, who terrorizes the house and make people become very uncomfortable. You're not just there to control the money that the woman works. I have been controlled out of my money. And the moment you don't want to be controlled, they say you are a bad woman. Then they start even intimidating you together with your children. They're just there to take control over your money. And I'm also sure there are women out there too. But most often is the man. Is the man that sits in control and abuses the woman. Sometimes they will criticize your body parts. They say you're too fat. Oh, you're this. They make you feel bad. And sometimes they will tell you there are too many women in the world. Why do you want to leave this relationship? You're not going to get any man. Ladies and gentlemen, happiness depends on you. Happiness does not depend on the marriage. You're expecting your spouse to give you happiness. It depends on you. You have to take the conscious decision to be happy, to look at yourself, very important, to know that you are created, no matter your looks, no matter your position in life, you are created to be happy. That happiness has to come from you. You have to build up yourself so that when somebody stands up to say, you're nothing, you can't get any other husband or wife when you go out there, you tell that person, you know what? Happiness does not depend on that relationship. It depends on you and the God who created you. A lot of women suffer in their homes because of domestic violence. But I also understand that some men too also suffer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we have to, when you are in an abusive relationship, no matter the threat, because some of the men will say, if you dare say anything, I will kill you and I will kill your children. Don't listen to that. They're just intimidating you. Call 911. Get out of the home as soon as you can and don't return. Call 911. Seek for help. Don't listen to what they are saying. There's always help. You cannot do it alone. Don't sit and be sad because the moment one of the spouses is not happy in the home, the children pick up on that. It has happened to me. I was pushed in the presence of my son. My son has to step in between. And that hurts me to today because no child should be put in a situation like that. No child. There's a lot of other factors. I'll let you pick up from there. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. So, yeah, another word that comes to mind is tyrant. Because, the abuser, especially most of them, which are men, they are tyrants because they can't even take care of themselves, and they're the ones that are actually weak because they always want to. They are very insecure, and abusers. If you are watching this, please stop because because you are insecure, you you are not very talented at some things, or even if you're just jealous of your partner or whatever your insecurity is, just stop, please, because trust me, that's not gonna help you. And a lot of us have been insecure, but abusers, you have taken it way too far. You can't just put your anger on others, and that hurts your partner. And if you really love your partner, please just stop it, get some help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Thank you. Yes, I just want to add, This domestic violence, it affects everybody, whether males, females, and children. And children are the innocent souls that will suffer most, because they will be watching all this drama, all this negativity, all the fights and the blames and the accusations, and they will have no one to turn to. So let us protect our families. Let us protect our kids. The environment that we grow them up, it's one of the most important factor that has to be looked to, and it has to be pleasant at all the times. You know, abuse also, it can be shouting. You know, if you shout for no apparent reason, you confuse everybody and everything, and the place becomes so tense and unpleasant. If you've got an issue that trembles your mind, how about if you solve it in a nice way? Not in a fight. Not in a fight. And when it comes to culture, yes, you know, domestic violence can be controlled, but this is also based on one country to the other, how the government sees the whole concept of domestic violence. I know here in my country, in South Africa, as long as you are not beaten up, you are not bleeding, that is not domestic violence if you go and report. They want you to come there, you know, with blood. Your clothes must be full of blood. It's then that they will say that this is abuse. And it depends, again, on who is going to help you. Because they can say that, no, this is not domestic violence. It's a family affair. What type of affair is that? Whereby there has to be blood loss. You know, families has to be pleasant. They don't have to be taken as bloodshed stages. No. There has to be peace. There have to be togetherness. There have to be love that is pure. And again, coming to the issue of money. Money cannot buy love. Ladies and gentlemen, money cannot buy love. That is the form of abuse. And you know, if you start to talk about it, you'll be given names. But know that this is another pattern of abuse. And at times, you can be an immigrant in another country. It doesn't matter whether you are a man or a female, and you become to be victimized by these perpetrators, then you'll be scared to can go and report because you worried about your visa. You don't have to do that because you also have a birthright. It doesn't matter wherever you find yourself to be. And Hannah Mafu, we thank you for jumping on. She says, hi, everyone. Hi, Hannah. We welcome you on board. No one has got a right to can abuse anybody. And should you find yourself being a victim of abuse, seek for help. Know your community. Know the services that are being rendered in your community. And again, we as sisters, or we as women, or even if it can be a male, for argument's sake, you feel that one of your neighborhood is in danger. You know, don't say, I don't want to be involved as long as it's not happening to me. No. Go out, knock on the door to make them aware that whatever is happening here, I can hear. And whatever affects whoever here, it also affects me. Because it's not a nice thing. And with this pandemic, it's even worse. It's affecting mental status of our kids. Children at the age of 7, 9, they're committing suicide because of we as parents who are not responsible enough to can face all these challenges of life. Is there any addition, my friend Yvonne or Al?
Oh, thank you so much, Elsa. Thank you so much. Those are very great contributing factors. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are out there, you are hearing this, take it very seriously. Because when we talk about crimes in our society, when we talk about children or even adults doing drugs or being alcoholics, when we talk about a lot of other things that are happening, like stealing, robbery, and all those things, this is where it started. It started from the home most often. Because a lot of times, when there is the situation of violence and abuse in the home, it affects us, particularly our children, differently. The children now become very insecure. The children now begin to look for ways in which they can dull their own pain because they are very uncomfortable at home. Now they want to look for love from outside. They want to look for somebody that they can call parent from outside, and sometimes they fall into the wrong hands. And when they fall into the wrong hands, they don't know how to grow or to navigate their way around. Now they turn to depend on drugs and alcohol in order to dull that thing that is affecting them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. And I'm also talking here, I read at the comments of one of our audience out there. They said we have to talk about both, that men are also being abused. That is very right. And thank you for those comments. Because they are. Just the fact that somebody is abusing the spouse, that is already a very big issue. It means that that person has problem. That person needs help. And the person that is being abused, if you are going to report, also talk about your spouse, because that means that that person is going through some mental difficulties that they don't know how to solve it or how to look for help. Now they take it on the immediate person that is close to them, and that is their spouse. And the reason we talk a lot about women is because more than 80% of our societies all over the world, the women are the victims. They are the victims in several ways. Men are also victims. Some men are. And that doesn't mean that because the women are in majority, it makes it right. No. None of the situation of domestic violence or abuse is right. We have to seek for help for both the man and the woman and the children. The children will need some sort of counseling. The children cannot be left alone because in the end, the children are those who are going to carry on onto the future. They are going to be leaders. They are going to be builders. They are those who are going to rule tomorrow. If we do not make sure these children also get help, tomorrow they can become bad leaders. All of those kind of behavior will show at their jobs, in whatever they do, even in classrooms. So everybody is involved and we all need to look for help because we cannot be counseling a woman who has been abused to go back into the same relationship when the man himself has not seek for help, when the children themselves have not been taken care of. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very serious. I am giving an example for myself. Sometimes, like my friend Elsa said, that we will need to know who we are reporting it to and what action they are taking. I was in an abusive relationship. I was abused physically. I am the one who called the police in the United States of America. I called the police. Me and my son, we had to run and lock ourselves in the room. When the police came, They did not even look for us to see if we were safe or not. The police stayed downstairs with the abuser, who was my husband. He lied to the police. The police came upstairs. They will not let me talk. They won't let me talk. And they minimized everything. They went and wrote a false report. How did I know? I went to my landlord. My landlord said, "What is happening? Are you guys okay?" I said, "Yeah, we are okay." He said, "No, this is a police report here." I said, "How do you get this report?" She said, "By law, we are supposed to get that report." I read the report. I said, "But it looks like this report is incomplete." So she directed me to go to the police to get the report. I went there. They gave me the report, only what they gave my landlord. I said, "But this report is incomplete. Why is this the way it is?" They said I should talk to the police supervisor. I did. They sent those police people back to my home to come and take the right report. They still took the wrong report. The police were siding with the abuser. So I wrote a letter to the supervisor of the police here in Minnesota. Up to today, they have not replied to my letter. They kept the false report on file. They were protecting the abuser against the victim. So we need to follow up. Even when we call for help, ladies and gentlemen, follow up with the report. It is your right, it is your responsibility to go to the police station where they took the report, go to any authority where the report was given, make sure they write down the right thing, because the police, they manipulate, they falsify the report. It happened in my case. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for our own sake, the victim, for the sake of the abuser, for the sake of the children. We have to act as a community. Resources, like Elsa said, they're out there, they're everywhere. Don't let nobody tell you that they will kill you or they will do something bad to you if you report it. Don't listen. Don't listen to that. Call. We are here. There are others out there. Call. Call everywhere. Al, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I do. So first of all, what happened with us? It honestly, I don't even think it matters anymore because they may have kept a false report, but did they hold that against us anymore, or did they come and arrest us? No. So, so what I'm trying to say is that everybody, the truth is not necessarily out there because people like to lie a lot, whether it's in history books or current news. Like like for example, the supposed bias, at least between CNN and Fox News, something like that. It's those are probably not even the best news stations anyway. So the truth is not always out there. It's the truth is within you and what you know. So yeah, that situation doesn't matter anymore if they can't touch us. And victims or soon to be not victims, if they cannot touch you either, none of the liars, abusers, they can no longer touch you anymore if you take action right now. And and also, next of all, I'd like to bring up gold diggers. You guys know what gold diggers are, Mom and Nephew? Yeah, I've told my mom about it several times. So yeah, gold diggers, men and women, they come into the relationship and don't contribute and rely on the other partner's money. And like Auntie said, yes, the abusers take control of the money, but gold diggers, they can for sure take control of the money, but they just rely on the other partner to buy everything. Like whether it's a lazy man or a spoiled woman, those are the two normal stereotypes of a gold digger. They just rely on their partners to buy them whatever they want, and yeah, like Angie said, money cannot buy love, and those gold diggers will threaten to leave the relationship, and that will never be worth it. So Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Thank you. Thank you. Just to add on what Al have just said, thank you. We've got one comment on the screen. Mary Bauman says, yes. And firstly, she said, wow, mighty God. Yes, you know, God is the only one who can turn a mess into a message. We all underwent so many things. We have witnessed challenges, we've witnessed adversities, but because of his mercies, he pulled us through. I experienced a lot of circumstances and my friend Yvonne, but today, when we talk about them, we just burst into laughter. That is our mighty God. We just burst into laughter. I was once told that I must stop wasting money saying that I'm reading. What is this reading all about? Imagine, I was told that in my eyes. It's not something that I've read in the book. No. And things started to be upside down because I couldn't take it. For someone to tell me that stop reading all your books. No, I couldn't take it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that we have to be educated. We have to be of the know what is right and what is wrong for us to can follow the laws. And even the perpetrators, they have to be educated for them to heal. Whilst the abuse will be empowered to reclaim her power back. There is this saying that goes, it takes a village to raise a child. So this time, I will say it takes a village to empower a woman to stand up on her own feet for the sake of her life and the life of the children. So whatever happens to your neighborhood, don't just lock yourself inside your house and say, no, I don't want to be involved. We have to hold hands in hands. We are now facing difficult moments whereby we don't need any addition of any sort of any kind of a problem. We are undergoing through a lot. And so we as women, we are reclaiming our power because we have been victimized many a times. But I'm not saying that males are not victims of abuse. They are there. And to you as well, I say that speak up, seek for help. Don't suffer alone wherever you are. Do not suffer. It is true, we can see our brothers, our uncles, you know, they've been affected mentally and psychologically by all these mishaps that has been happening around them, and they never talked about them. As a man, know that you are also a human being. You've got a right to cry, to can distress. You've got a right to can speak up, to get help. There's nothing that says men don't cry. No, who said that? Where is it written? I've not come across such a thing, whether in Quran or in the Bible. There is no such. And this is the thing that leads to loss of lives, because when a person bottles up, the minute he's going to burst, he'll become unstoppable. He'll become unstoppable and he will kill left, right, and center. And we don't want that to happen. Speak up as soon as you see that things are no more getting into the right track. Don't be silent. Break the silence, break the walls of domestic violence. That is your right. If you can do that, nobody's going to do that on your behalf. I remember when I was victimized, you know, my mother could feel that my relationship that I am in, it's not pleasant. My sisters could feel the same thing, my aunts, everybody. And they kept on asking me, but until when are you going to live like this? And you know, it took years. It took years. And it was just by the grace of God that I didn't turn out to be an alcoholic, a smoker, or a drug addict. Because a lot has been happening to me. There was no even a single day that was peaceful. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are surrounded by resources. Your internet is just next to you. Should you feel that things are not getting all right, search for information on the internet. And you know, these perpetrators, they are so smart because they can track you down, even your conversations. So I'm just going to share a few tips with you on how to go about for you to get an escape strategy. Whenever you use or you browse through the internet, make sure that you close all these apps. Don't leave them open. Make it a point that your password is frequently changed. Because they can even track your conversations. If you want to use a computer or a laptop, go to your next door neighbor. Use the one in the library, the public library. Use the one in your friend's house. And have your things in readiness. Your important documents, your passport, your ID, your driver's license, your birth certificate, few clothes, and your prescriptions if you are on long-term medications, your medications, pack them nicely and shove your bag somewhere so that if you get a chance for you to escape, you just do that without looking back. And you need to have someone whom you can relate to. We've got community leaders. Have someone that you trust. Someone who can give you better advices, maybe. Someone whom you can share your problems with. We've got churches as well. You know, your community. That's why I say it's so important for you to know your community at large. Know all those emergency numbers. Your 911 works in other countries. In your country, you have to know your emergency number. For in case of when there's a dire need for you to call, you must know it off even if you are in your sleep. And associate yourself with people who are going to support you, who will give you a chance to can express your feelings without any judgment. And associate yourself with people who are not going to victimize you, to pressure you to make instant decisions. No. Talk to people who will give you the right guidance. And should they, maybe the help that is coming along the way, feel that you need to be removed from your place, get out, go there and heal. And I know that getting out of a relationship is not a one-night thing. It's a journey. It is a journey. If I can tell you that How many times have I been telling myself that, you know what, tomorrow I'm going, I'm leaving this man. Tomorrow I'm going. Did I go? No. I was here. I never go anywhere. So let us not judge. Let us support the victim in ways that we can. And let us involve them in the activities, whether it's a baking or it's a reading club or it's a cooking club. Let us involve them to help them to distress. I wonder if there's something that you want to add, Yvonne or Al.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead, Al.
So we got we brought up a lot of stereotypes, and there's also a lot of cultural stereotypes as well, and cultural laws and taboos. Like we got the obvious: men can't show emotion, and women must be submissive and follow the man no matter what they do. And one cultural and a cultural thing that's very sexist too is like, for example, the law or at least the culture of Saudi Arabia, which which states that woman must be covered, and sometimes even their face too. They can't expose any part of their body, not even their arms, while the men can do whatever they want. And that doesn't make me very happy because the women can't be free. It's not a free country over there. And yeah, that's part and and that can definitely be part of domestic abuse too. And again, abusers, um, predators, Karens, Darrens, if you're watching this, please stop it right now, because you're not going to help yourself or anybody if you keep doing the stuff that you're doing and lying to yourself and lying to others. So just stop the tyranny and stop the Karenness.
Wow, thank you guys so much. Maybe we're going to close out here in a little bit, and I'm just going to thank the audience just in case this thing just stops on us. I want to thank the audience for coming. Thank you for your contributions, your comments. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for being involved. And I want to thank Elsa and Al for your great contributions. We are going to be talking about this domestic violence and break the walls of domestic violence over and over, because it is something that is apparent every day in our society, and the victims suffer. Some, they kill them instantly for no reason, because when somebody is killed instantly, our concern becomes more towards the perpetrator, because that person is suffering mental illness that we don't know. And a lot of times we come together as unique individuals. We grow up in different societies. We don't know how some people were raised. People are being raised differently. And when we come together, we start to see those attributes that were not there when we were dating. We saw only the good sides. And that is why I am asking that all of us, including me, before we get into any relationship, we have to date for a long, long time. If possible, maybe in my case, or in the case of my friend, we go through church dating to make sure, because when you date for a period of 6 months to 1 year, you are bound to discover something about the other person that can be fixed, if it can be fixed, and if the person accepts it to be fixed. Let us not get into relationship that we see the red flags. Like my friend said, I saw them for myself, but I believe in a culture that says that's okay, he will change. Don't worry about that, he will change. No. When once somebody is abusing, there is a serious problem. That problem cannot be changed until that person seeks help. It's not going to go away. It's only going to calm down for a little bit. It will come back again. And ladies and gentlemen, happiness is what we seek in life. Love is what we seek in life in every situation. It doesn't matter what. If you're not being loved, you're not being happy, that unlovedness, the unhappiness transcends to the next person that is close to you. And the children are the ones that always suffer. We need to. If we love ourselves, we cannot put a hand on our spouses. If we love ourselves, we cannot intimidate somebody. If we love ourselves, we cannot manipulate. We cannot use people. If we love ourselves, we shouldn't be able to tell a man that, oh, you are a weak man, you can't cry. Crying is an emotional relief. Let us not talk like that to one another, ladies and gentlemen. It is not helping. It is not helping. The abuser is not happy. The victim is not happy. The society is not going to be happy. We live in a global village where when one thing affects one person, it affects everybody else. We are doing it right now, globally, virtually. Now, the world is so small. Let us be conscious of what we are saying to one another. If something it's going to make you uncomfortable, know that it will make the other person uncomfortable. And let us use very nice language. Mostly, for me, I use the greatest book of wisdom. I might not be a very good Christian, but I use the greatest book of wisdom because that book has saved my life. It has helped me a lot. Let us begin to, let us not say, oh, it doesn't concern me, it's none of my business. No, there are ways that you can seek for help for somebody who is under abuse without the person knowing. You just place an anonymous call. They don't have to know your name. You don't have to say it. But seek for help for somebody, because if you don't, you close your eye to what you're seeing. It means that you yourself, you are an abuser. You are violating the universal laws of the Good Samaritan. You have to say something. You have to say something. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 11 minutes after 10. I don't know if we're going to be closing now or what, but that is what I am saying. All this call us. Your information is going to be kept private, very private. We cannot discuss it. And ladies and gentlemen, to the men out there listening, show your emotions. If you show your emotions, you become the stronger man. Don't hide your emotions and then explode like a bomb on your children and your wife. No, show your emotions. A strong man says, I'm sorry. A strong man says, I love you. A strong man says, let me help you cut the tomatoes and help you in the kitchen, madam. A strong man says, honey, what do you want me to do? The same thing too for a woman. Let us be in this together. When we are in this together for one another, it doesn't mean that the problems are not going to come. But if we put the resources in place for when those problems come, we will be able to tackle those problems and live in a loving relationship and in happiness. And then our children will also see. A lot of children are acting up because of the homes in which they grew and because of what they saw with their own eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I am asking that let us seek for help. I seek for help. I did. And that is why I can afford to talk about breaking the walls of domestic violence today. I seek for help. My friend Elsa Rapodi did the same thing. That is why we are carrying out a revolution, a movement around the world, that we stand together for one another. If somebody does not have something, help give that person that something, because that might help that person from talking in a very unhappy way or from scolding a partner. Let us help, but let us not help and talk about the help. Let us build a movement of sisterhood that we go around our communities, our families, and the world, trying to curb violence of all kinds against one another, the man and the woman and the children. Thank you guys so much. Elsa, I don't know if we have to close now or not. It's 11 minutes after 12. If we're not closing, let's keep the ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of our day for now. But before we disperse, I just want to inform you that we've got our book That will be coming soon. Me and Yvonne, we co-authored the book. As soon as we get the link and it's published, we will be bringing it to the stage. It is called Stormborn. It is full of nuggets of life. It's something that you don't want to miss. Get yourself a copy and gift yourself. Empower yourself. Watinti abafazi, watinti mbokoto. It means you strike a woman, you strike a rock. Thank you until we meet again next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. I love you.
Thanks, everyone.